We're bringing you one out of the vaults this week on Reanimated. Enjoy one of our early episodes about the movie Fido.
Which brings us to our review of the day. And this is a film called Fido. And Fido was made in 2006, and the director is Andrew Curry, and it is a Canadian film. It didn't really get that much play in the US. It was made using some government grants and things in Canada, because Canada does cool things like that. So it was about $8 million to make this, and didn't really get a lot of circulation or play in the US, although I think it has gotten more in terms of like DVDs and distribution and downloads since then. But I believe it made a grand total of like maybe $250,000 or something crazy like that in the US. So, and basically Fido is definitely it's definitely set into, I think, sort of the original setting for zombie films. It's like a 50s era idyllic world, and definitely somewhat propaganda or totally propaganda based. And basically the characters in this movie have survived the zombie wars, and which were brought about by space dust, which came down and reanimates the dead.
I love space dust.
Space dust is the best. It's such a great thing. Causes amazing. A lot of problems, but it also causes a lot of interesting situations.
One other thing about the setup for the story is that what seems to be the case for me is that basically the zombie wars took the place of World War II.
Yes,
it seems. So, and then we're now living in this kind of McCarthyist era of the Zomcom kind of seems to run everything. They're like the big government / corporation that control zombies and also seem to exert a lot of pressure on the living humans who live in this beautiful on the outside community.
Well, and it's not clear to me, and maybe this is, that this particular society, like, did it become so restrictive and whatever? I don't think it was like that before the zombie wars, and that is somewhat implied. It became like this because of the zombie wars, and the zombie wars are used as an excuse to basically exert complete control over the community and what people are doing and how people think and talk. And I mean, I think especially, I mean, this was made in 2006, and this is definitely, there's an underlying sort of indication that this is a lot about, TSA and Homeland Security and all the other stuff going on in the real world. Would you agree about that?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way for sure. And Canada usually doesn't
pull their punches,
shy away from telling America that we're screwing things up.
Right.
A couple of other little tidbits that I loved in this in setting up this world in Willard, the town of Willard, which is where basically everything happens, is every kid gets a gun when he's 12.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Willard's also a reference to the whole Night of the Living Dead too, I think. Because isn't that the town that they're in?
That's right. So, we were talking about that, weren't we?
So.
Interesting.
Right. But yes,
that was the town they were trying to get to.
But yes, every kid gets a gun when they turn 12.
And there's a few commercials on TV, and they talk about like never trust old people, because in this world, anybody who dies turns into a zombie. It doesn't
right. No matter what reason, it's because
unless your head's removed. That's right. Space dust. And so they're always like, don't trust old people. They're not to be trusted.
And they have zombie alarms on them too, so that the minute they expire, the Zomcon team can come in and dispatch them.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I really love how the world was created, and it portrays that nice little Leave It to Beaver or that kind of idyllic 50s feeling very well. Definitely. And the actors, I think, do an excellent job at carrying this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got, I mean, it's a beautiful looking film too. I mean, the colors and the cinematography is excellent. But I did find myself getting a little bit tired of the theme, which I don't know how you felt about that, Stuart.
define the theme.
Well, I mean, to me, it's sort of like, okay, we get it. It's like this 50s idyllic thing. Everything's like this. It just seemed sort of like a one-trick pony to me, which I truly enjoyed because I do love, and I thought that overall the film was well executed. But I was just hoping maybe for a little bit more, maybe for a little bit more gore. I don't know.
They were very sensitive to making most of the kills off screen or like silhouetted, which I thought that was quite tasteful, considering that it is like a
True,
camp zombie movie.
true, but
I didn't need to see like I mean there were some entrails still getting pulled out of people. That's like inevitable. You can't miss that.
right,
But yeah, there were some decisions, very Canadian seeming decisions made to tone it down a bit.
right, right. But overall, I thought it was excellent. Carrie-Anne Moss is one of the actresses in this, and she is quite amazing.
Yep.
And
She was good, and Dylan Baker, the character actor who seems to play a lot of '50s
he
guys,
really does.
her husband,
Right.
he's perfect.
He's
I mean, every
perfect.
facial expression he does, he looks like he's ripped out of that era and like born in the wrong century, born in the wrong decade or something.
Right. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And Billy Connolly, who plays the main zombie character in this film, um, Billy Connolly, not Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, he still looked like Bruce Campbell for like 90% of the
He did
film.
look a lot
Just
like Bruce Campbell. I think that that was probably deliberate. But I thought, so it's basically overall this centers around this family that gets a zombie servant, which that's sort of a status symbol within this little community, and their interactions with the zombie and becoming too attached to the zombie. And within this world, the zombies have been controlled and have these collars that basically give them pain somehow if they don't carry out their household chores or whatnot. So in this world, that whole classical conditioning theory is in full effect. And there's, as the film continues, you basically see that the zombies have some vestige of their human personality left. For example, Billy Conley obviously had a smoking habit, um,
right.
and is very attracted to Carrie-Anne Moss,
Yeah.
as is she to him, interestingly.
Oh God, yeah. This is really my least favorite aspect of zombie films to
Humanize
try
them.
to bring this human element back. It's like, why does it always have to end up with some sort of weird,
Sexual thing.
or just like even a friendship, like Shaun of the Dead at the end of that. I was like, oh come on.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I wasn't
Um,
happy with that too.
it's yeah, but then this one goes the furthest, or what I would imagine is if you're not talking about like was there's a movie called like Zombie Strippers or something out there.
Yeah.
Without like counting into the
Zombie
extreme B
porn.
movies, this one there's like a full on the mouth zombie kiss.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's just, oh,
Well, and
come
then there's
on.
also the very interesting relationship between the the zombie oh my goodness, the name is not coming to me.
Are you talking about Tammy?
Yes, the zombie
Yeah,
Tammy and
that
her
was
owner.
the kiss. Tammy and Mr. Theopolis.
Right. Oh, but
Really disturbing.
Carrie and Moss also kisses Fido on the mouth too.
Oh, gross! I missed that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I'm glad.
there's two zombie kisses that are just yes, a little too much. The other piece, the other aspect of this film that I wasn't fully sold on is that I didn't fully, and they never explain it, and I think it's one of those things that you're not meant to really delve that much into. But apparently, the minute that they get these collars, they stop decomposing, which is strange because Tammy the zombie, her owner, Mr. Theopolis, says that the reason why she looks so human still is because they slapped a collar on her almost immediately after she died, like before she hit the floor.
Oh, interesting.
So that's kind of a weird thing, but I guess trying to make it not quite as gross as it could be since she still looks somewhat normal, other than her mouth. So, and then there's also scenes within the movie that imply that Mr. Theopolis and Tammy are engaging in you know fun games in his house at night. So
Games that like appeared that he's taken off her restraining collar and just has her chained to the wall and then dances around her as she tries to eat him.
Yes. So I guess I guess there's sorts of things that people like that
Yeah,
for all
so
kinds, right? Um,
they're into some kinky stuff, or at
right,
least Theopolis is. I don't know that she has any choice in the matter.
right.
Um, but yeah, so I think you've definitely got a theme of slavery in this film in terms of making the zombies into an analog for slaves with the collars and the lack of free will.
But the humans
Um,
are also slaves to some extent too, because they're slaves to the whole Zomcom way of life.
right, and that to me that's just the McCarthyist
Right.
like fear propaganda element. But then you don't really ever understand how the wilds is referred to a few times, and then you see it at the very end. You don't really know how big this like tamed area is,
Right.
or
I thought it would have been more interesting to see that or see something on a map, right?
yeah. So I mean, maybe the McCarthyist thing is necessary because they're like a tiny dot on the map of safe, and everything else is blight, and and the only thing to keep everybody safe is to keep them kind of in line with fear.
And also a little bit in the dark, because I don't think the people in the town actually fully understand the wilds either. Or that's
Hmm.
sort of the idea that I got anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but
But besides just keeping people in line with like, oh, you'll get taken away and thrown into the wilds, they're also training everybody to kill zombies. So it's not like um, some zombie media which puts like an authoritarian government takes away the weapons from the people. This one arms its people and with the express purpose of killing zombies. But then
right, and everybody's involved, the kids, everybody, and it's part of the curriculum at school. The Carrie Ann Moss character, she she is definitely able to take care of herself. And in fact, dispatches several zombies during the course of the film
yeah, my that was one of my favorite scenes
in the
actually.
forest.
In the forest where she shoots 9 rounds out of a revolver.
To get the zombie Boy Scout or the equivalent of the zombie Boy Scout. That was pretty awesome. And then she just very matter of factly burns down the little structure with gasoline to sort of get rid of the evidence. So
Yeah,
um,
all the while telling her son like this is not okay.
this is not normal, Timmy, which is pretty awesome. She was one of my favorite parts of this film. She did
Yeah.
just a brilliant job. And the other thing that the other theme running through it is this sort of fear of becoming a zombie or not, or there's this whole, Timmy's father and Carrie Ann Moss's character's husband is he's scared of zombies, and it's implied it's because his father tried to eat him and attack him, and he has been saving very carefully for their funeral so that they won't become zombies. And this is something that's very expensive, the funeral accounts, so that you can be beheaded and be buried with a head box. Um,
Yeah, this was an interesting part of the film because he it basically drove his all of his characters' actions was this
right.
fear of zombies and becoming a zombie.
Right. And, his wife at some point chastises him for having a funeral plan for his son Timmy, and he hisses at her, but none of the kids like him. They all hate him. You told me so. Like
Yeah.
implying that he's going to meet an early death because people don't like him because he's weird. Um, and then later on, when she announces her pregnancy, that his biggest concern was about whether he could make enough money for funeral plans for three. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole funeral thing is super super interesting. And he at one point he also says like only 10% of people get funerals. The rest of them are all turned into zombies who then go back to work menial jobs for
Ever.
the living.
Yeah.
Which
But
is
it's also implied that the funerals are so expensive, which is why only 10% get them. And
yeah.
then he's somewhat
But
of a funeral fan, so
he
this
goes
is a family whose Sunday drive is spent going to funerals and
taking
taking
pictures.
pictures and asking questions. And Timmy is lamenting the fact, Mom, we never know anybody at these things. And she said, well, maybe this week we will. And
Yeah, it's super messed up.
It's super messed up, um, but yeah. So that is Fido, and it's in the end, after the culmination of the film, which ends in Timmy's father being killed, and getting his long desired wish to be buried with his head decapitated so that he doesn't become a zombie. Um, the world seems to be a little bit kinder and gentler towards zombies. They are actually participating, or at least
Right,
for
yeah.
Fido, at least for the Billy Connolly
And Tammy, I
and
mean,
Tammy.
because before she was the servant bringing Mr. Theopolis his lemonade, and now he's bringing her drinks on a tray, and then kind of pointing out that he's serving her.
Right,
So it's this role reversal where the slaves have been freed, if you
right,
will. I mean, they're still wearing their collars because otherwise they would still be eating people.
right.
Although maybe not Fido. We're not sure if he's actually overcome his zombie
Well, it
urges.
seems like he can overcome them when he wants to. Like, I guess if you want it badly enough, you can change your behavior.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's very warm bodies, and
Yes,
I'm
it
I'm
is
not
very
buying
warm
it.
bodies, and I'm not buying it either. So,
If I can backtrack a little bit, though, another one of my absolute favorite parts of this film, and totally, conscious that it's all camp, was the Lassie moment
oh, I
where
know, that was the
Fido
best.
Fido has to go and get Mrs. Robinson, Carrie Ann Moss, and then she's like, "Where's Timmy? Is Timmy okay?"
Is something wrong? Is Timmy in trouble?
And he just
He
grunts
he
and
grunts.
starts.
He actually howls a little bit like a dog, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if Billy Connolly enjoyed that role, or if he felt a little bit constricted in the fact that all he could do was howl and grunt.
I think he probably really loved that role. He seemed like he was really getting into it. But I did like, I'm not meaning to. I enjoyed this film. I thought that there was a great sense of humor about it, which I
Hmm.
truly did like. And there were moments like that where I laughed out loud watching it. Um, but it kind of goes back to my whole thing in terms of thinking about the whole idea of zombies. I just don't, it's kind of funny because if you think about the original idea of zombies, yes, that's in Haiti and whatnot, and they're used to go and work in people's farms and things like that. I think that may be where that comes from to some
Very
extent.
astute. Yeah, yeah,
But it just doesn't seem to play in to the modern zombie, so to speak.
yeah. Exactly. Our zombie's a little more brutal and merciless. Um, but this film was another example of a very accessible film, and my wife, who watched it with me the whole way through, which is almost unprecedented. Although she watched Rec with me too, because it's really easy to get her to watch things with subtitles.
Wow, she
Um,
watched Wreck. Bill
yeah,
refused to
she
watch Wreck.
she really didn't enjoy the fact that she I feel like she feels like she was tricked into watching it because it's a
Ah.
foreign film. Um, but she watched the whole thing and she said it was terrifying. This one she watched and she said it was enjoyable.
Yeah,
So, not a zombie fan. She liked it. I think that's a pretty good testament that this is an enjoyable movie.
true. But, and I kind of, in thinking about what they were hinting at in that particular news article about the upcoming season of Walking Dead, I really hope that they're misinterpreting it. But maybe not, if that's what they're saying. I don't know. This sort of idea has never really held together for me. And so I'm kind of hoping that they don't go there, that it does turn out to be, as you say, the humans learning how to control the zombies as opposed to the zombies learning.
Yeah, beyond belief. I mean, I really hope that that's the case. We already saw the governor using zombies this way with his little truck of zombies that he drove through the prison fence last
Oh
season.
yeah, and he did that, but so did Andrea in the
And
building when
and
she was trying to outrun the governor. Um, she definitely used the zombies to her advantage.
Andrew lured them back into the prison early in the season
Right.
too.
But up until this point in the Walking Dead series, we haven't seen anything that indicates that they can learn. And I think your point about the whole experiments with the zombies to try to see if they retain any personality, it was pretty. I thought that was a pretty thorough denial of that. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm really hoping that this is just sort of like a red herring to sort of rile the fans up, maybe. And then we'll see what actually happens. But
Let's hope. Or maybe the quote was taken out of context, or who knows.
perhaps.
We, yeah, I think it would be a mistake to introduce zombie evolution other than further decomposition. And that was another part of the trailer where we saw a zombie who was covered in like moss because it had been lying under a tree trunk or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And so that to me is like the only evolution zombies should go through is being reclaimed by the environment or, eventually breaking down and decomposing entirely.
Right. I guess the question is that why does it take so long? In The Walking Dead, or in any of these films, but
especially in the ridiculously humid South where things
just fall apart. Yeah.
So I guess that's our review of Fido, plus a little bit more
about Walking Dead.
A little bit more Walking Dead talk. But we'd love to know how our audience felt about or feels about Fido if you've seen it, and we definitely encourage you to go see that. And you can email us at reanimatedpodcast@gmail.com. Similarly, we'd love to hear from you and your thoughts on our question for this week, which is, do you think zombies could be reprogrammed, and what would you want your zombie to do if they could? I personally would want to shoot them all in the head and not be bothered with zombies walking around my house.
I'm in agreement with you on that point. I don't think I'd want them preparing my food or decomposing into like my coffee. So I don't know that I'd really want them hanging out, but
other than Theopolis, most of the zombies in Fido were really bad at their jobs. Like they're dropping food all the time. The milkman zombie was trying to throw milk bottles at the doors.
Right, they were pretty clumsy. They were not the best menial servants, I guess. So
either way, but you know what? We want our audience to make up their own mind and not be swayed by our towering intellect.
Absolutely not. And you know what? Maybe you'll convince us because I would like to hear opposing opinions on this.
Yeah, other than maybe they could work in radioactive mines or something.
Right.
Either way, so okay.
Subway drivers.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. And thanks a lot for listening to this 7th episode of Reanimated, and be sure to join us next time. Booyah. So, yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, until next time. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Reanimated Podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, please email us at reanimatedpodcast@gmail.com. You can find the rest of our episodes online at reanimated.podbean.com. And you can often find us on Discord at the Brain Munchers Zombie Collective with a bunch of other zombie fans. Our intro and outro music is produced and recorded by Colin Diaz. Thanks for listening, and come on back for more zombie content from Reanimated Podcast.